Hi everybody, this is Scott Sharp with Fretboard Toolbox, and today I want to show you the most important things to be able to see in the key of G major. We're going to learn all 6 chords that are the main 6 chords that make up the key, 3 majors and 3 minors. We're going to learn some common chord progressions, and then we're going to learn the major and major pentatonic scales and a couple blues notes. And I'll show you how to be able to see all that all up and down the fretboard. Let's take a look and I'll show you how it works. Okay, today we're going to start out looking at the Fretboard Toolbox Essential Mandolin ebook, and we're going to go to the key of G major. And the first thing I said I wanted you to be able to see in the key of G major is the 6 main chords that make up the key. So there's 3 major chords. That's called the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Those have color on the Essential Edition here. And then there's 3 minor chords, and those 3 are the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord. So I really do think it's super helpful to be able to think of, once a song's in the key of G major, I know I want to be able to play G, I know D could be in there, I know C could be in there, there might be an E minor, or an A minor, sorry, or an E minor, maybe a B minor, and just knowing what those chords are. And the cool thing about the Essential Toolbox is that you can see which notes make up the chords. So G majors are always made of the notes G, B, and D. And then on this fretboard layout, all these green circles here are G major chords. So I can play G major with these 2 notes. I can play them with adding these 2 and play that big bluegrass chop chord. I can play G major with the 4th and 5th frets here. I can play 7-5-5 or 7-5-5-7. And I can skip the 7. Don Julian showed me that. So that's a nice little G major here. But it's cool to be able to see those notes all up and down the fretboard. So again, I want to be able to play G majors. I want to be able to play C major chords. And so those are all up and down here. The first C you probably learned was G, E, C, E, like this. And G major and C major sound good together all day long. And then the 5 chord is D major, and the first D you probably learned was here, 2nd, open, open, 2nd, like this. But you can also play D playing 2nd fret, 4th, 5th, or one I use a lot is D, F sharp, D on 7-4-5. So that's D major. I can play C major with that same shape as the D, just scooted down 2 frets. So I can play C, E, C, D, C, back to G. So those are my 3 main major chords. And then my 3 main minor chords is the 2 chord, which is A minor. It's made of the notes A, C, E. So I can scroll down here and see where's all the A minors I can play. First one I learned was A, E, C, A, and that looks like this. But again, going back to the G, those sound good together. D, back to G. So those A minor sounds good in the key of G, and then there's a B minor that sounds good in the key. And so B minor, you could play B, open D, B, like this. Listen how minor chords have sadder sounds. I don't usually play it like that. I use B, F sharp, D, B right here, so that same A minor shape. Down to A minor. Back to G. So the B minor sounds good too. That's called the 3 chord. And then the 6 chord is called E minor, and that's E, G, B. And the one that Don Julian showed me that I love is just B, E, B right here. And that doesn't have the G note in it, which is the G's called the flat 3 note, but it's got the 1 and 5, so it's really a power chord, but it sounds good when everybody else is playing E minor. You can play that E power chord with E and B and just skip the G, because the bass will, well, probably guitar will be hitting the G and other instruments. So anyway, I can play just B's or E's, G's, and B's, I'm playing E minor. So knowing those are the chords that sound good together is is super helpful. And then what do I do once I know these chords? And I know it takes, like, it seems like it's a lot to learn, but really, like, learn in the key of G. I want G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, and E minor, and so many more songs will start to make sense. Then you can start seeing some chord progressions. So if I know those 6 chords, what are some different chord progressions I can play? G, D, G, G, C, D, G, D, C, etc. And with the Fretboard Toolbox, even if you don't purchase it, it's free. You can go to the Toolbox website and then go down and click on Tracks and Tab and click on 200 Free Jam Tracks, and then what you're going to find is those chord progressions in this box are the same as the chord progressions in this box. And so what it is you can click on this, and then it's me playing all these chord progressions. First one starts out with just the G, and then there's G, D, G, and I play them at different speeds so you can practice playing along with those and get good at moving between those chords. And just hearing that those chords sound good together in the key. And so then the third thing you're going to want to be able to see, so I want to know the 1 through 6 chords, memorize them, I promise it helps. And if you want to take it to the next level, start memorizing the notes that build the chords, because that makes soloing makes so much more sense, and it makes chord building and building chords up the neck makes so much more sense. So learn the 6 chords, learn the notes that make them if you want to go to the next level, learn some common chord progressions, and then these chord progressions are also in the key of G major, but they have some chords that are outside the key, like F major can sound good in the key of G, and A major can sound good in the key of G, and so you start breaking some rules and saying, okay, so what happens if I don't just play these chords? And you start hearing some common ways like, oh, that's what a major 2 chord sounds like in a song, and then you can pick that up quickly while a song's being played. And then the third main thing I want to show you is how to find the major scale notes all up and down the fretboard and the major pentatonic notes. So the major scale notes is everything in white boxes. So it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. And so I can play, if I want to play G to G right here, I can play G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, like this. And then you can start messing around with the order. And that's where so many melodies come from, just from knowing those major scale notes and then seeing where can I easily slide between those notes, slide D to C or C to B, and things like that. And then if you ever hear about pentatonic scales, a pentatonic scale is just the major scale notes, but it's the underlined notes in my book. So G is major pentatonic and major, A is both, B is both, C is just major, it's in white but it's not underlined. So the 4th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, is not in the pentatonic, the 5th note is, the 6th note is, the 7th isn't, and then the 8th or the octave is. And so on a major scale here, G is a major scale note and major pentatonic, A is both, B is both, C is just major, it's not pentatonic, D is both, E is both, and then F sharp is just major, it's not pentatonic. And then the last thing is I want to be able to see what are some bluesy notes. So if I just play major scale notes like G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, it sounds okay, but then when you start hearing where are those cool bluesy, bluegrassy sounds coming from, then you want to know what's called the flat 3rd note. So 1, 2, 3. The flat 3rd is a B flat in the key of G, and then you want to know what's called the flat 7. And to see that up here, here's my flat 3rd. Okay, so that's a rule-breaking one. It's in italics, but it's bluesy and it sounds cool. And then the flat 7 is an F, and that also sounds cool in the key of G. So those 2 notes that are in italics here are your bluesy notes. So if I wanted to add those, I could play G, A, slide B flat to B. Then I could hit D. Hear how that B flat sounds really bluesy? And then this F also sounds bluesy. So here's F up here, F, E, D, oops. So again, to recap, I want to know what are my 6 main chords in the key of G. Memorize them. It's helpful. Learn their numbers. 1, 4, 5 is G, C, D. If you want to learn the notes to make up the chords, that becomes really helpful later on. Know your 3 minor chords that are in the key. This flat 7 sounds cool too, but it's bluesy, it's out of the key, so it's in italics there. So learn those 6 chords, learn some common chord progressions, play along with those on the jam tracks, and then learn your major scale notes and your major pentatonic notes, and you can use those with the jam tracks too. So it'll say here, for these tracks, try the G major scale, try G major pentatonic, and then it says what toolbox pages to use, and so you can see what notes build the chords, what the scales are, and then try to play along with those with these different chord progressions too, and lots of fun stuff starts to happen. That's the essential edition that we looked at. The complete edition is the exact same material, but instead of the keys of G, A, C, D, and E, so the essential editions have 5 of the most common keys you play in. The complete editions have all 12 or 14 keys, depending how you want to count it. They got major keys, blues keys, and then the relative minors. And so those ones don't have any color, but it's the exact same information up here. The G, B, D makes up G major, shows it here also. The same chords make up the key, the same progressions sound cool, and then this is all the major scale notes in white boxes, and all the underlined notes are pentatonic. So I hope you found something useful today. I'll have lots more videos coming on lots more instruments. Thanks for taking a look.